So before I start this review of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie starring McTitslot and William Fichtner, I want you guys to know something. I've been a longtime Turtles fan, and I want to review this movie as a reviewer and also a Turtles fan, so I'm not going to be really biased with it. I mean, it would be ridiculous for me to say honestly that I've held on to this nostalgia for so long. That would be ridiculous.
With a K review!
It's VIC?
No, it's with a K.
Oh.
So when I first heard that they were going to be remaking the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I was actually kind of happy. I wanted to see what they were going to do. Were they really going to stay with the original ideas of the Turtles, the fun-loving guys? Were they actually going to do something really different with them? And then I heard that Micheal Bay was going to be doing it. And at first I thought he was going to be directing it, and everybody went nuts. And then he wasn't directing, he was just producing it, and then everybody went nuts. And then Megan Fox was cast as April O'Neil, and literally the internet just exploded. And then, to top all things off, they said they were going to change the Turtles to aliens. And I just want you guys to know that as far as my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles little lore goes in my brain, is that the ooze was actually alien in origin. As in the 2013 cartoon that's on Nickelodeon right now, the ooze is actually alien in origin. So they weren't that far off, but making them into aliens, no. So now the movie is actually directed by Jonathan Liebesman, and it is produced by Micheal Bay, and we all understand what that means. McTitslot, explosions. There we go. But when I look back at Jonathan Liebesman's filmography, I was a little bit more worried with this movie because he's directed a couple of movies that didn't do so well. He did Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, Darkness Falls, Wrath of the Titans, Battle Los Angeles, and as you can see, yeah, okay. But just as a side note, I actually did like Battle Los Angeles. I thought it was just kind of a fun movie, but anyway. So when I went into this movie, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot given everything that has happened to it so far. I was really kind of impressed with the way the Turtles looked. I mean, they're way bigger and bulkier in this movie, and that's really what everybody seems to be having a problem with. And then I realized something when I looked up some stuff about this, with my in-depth reporting. It's that this movie is actually based more on the 2003 cartoon version where the Turtles are obviously muscly. And depending on who you are, if you're a big fan, if you're just a minor fan like I am, I really didn't mind this new version of the Turtles because they're just gonna be bigger and badder because, Micheal Bay is part of the process. And does that automatically make this movie really horrible because they're not representing what we used to be seeing in the 80s? No. It's just weird. And that's really how a lot of this movie is, because when I was watching this movie, I wasn't really sure exactly what elements this movie was pulling from, because there's so many different things that are happening story-wise that they keep pulling from all these different areas. They pull from the 2013 storyline, they're pulling from other past comic book storylines. In fact, here's just a little bit of example here. And I also really don't want to give away a lot of the plot of this movie, so I'm going to be speaking really generically here just for a second. There are two major characters in this movie, character A and character B. And these two characters, they have something that connects them, usually. And in this movie, that connection is gone. And later, there's a character C. Now, character C is... this is really great. And since character C exists, that means that character A and B should have that connection, but they don't. And I don't understand how character C can exist and not have that connection between character A and B. If you're confused, so am I at this point. But really, that's one of the minor things in the movie. There's a lot of things here that I think are actually pretty cool. There's way awesome action. The CGI actually looks really good in this movie. And the Turtles themselves, they're scary. They kind of do look like Shrek or even those little pigs off of Angry Birds a little bit. But this is a different view on the Turtles. It's a different take. And when I went to go see this movie, I literally thought, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But do I want some pizza? Yeah, I want some pizza. And the actual plot of this movie is actually pretty interesting. I do like how they are taking the origins of the Turtles and they are mixing it in with the plot of the movie. But the one thing that I really do feel that was kind of missing from this movie was a villain. And as we all know, the villain in this movie is Shredder. Of course, it looks more like Robo Shredder or Shreddertron from Jenny from Geekgasm. That was the best thing, by the way. That is hilarious, Shreddertron. But just because he looks really intimidating on screen, he looks like a nightmare, doesn't mean that he's actually a really good villain in the movie. In fact, William Fichtner's character, who's actually Eric Sachs in the movie, he was supposed to be the Shredder, and it was up until like the day the movie was released, he was listed as the Shredder. But Micheal Bay likes to do a lot of misinformation in his movies, but let's keep going. Basically, the Shredder is really ferocious in the movie. The fight scenes are done very well just because they're in CG, but they are done extremely well, and that's what I really enjoyed about the movie. A lot of the action in the movie is great, but when you come down to like the story of the turtles really having like this brotherly relationship with each other, it kind of falls apart in that. And it's really not until like the last 20 minutes of the movie that you really start to see the turtles come together as brothers. You really get that whole family orientation there, but that's what I kind of missed, is like all the other turtle iterations really do focus on that family atmosphere, and that's really cool. Cowabunga, you know. But in general, a lot of the human characters, especially April O'Neil and her boss played by Whoopi Goldberg, which I have no idea why Whoopi Goldberg was in this movie. I assume she walked on set one day and they just gave her a script and went, read this. And really the same thing goes for April O'Neil character played by Megan Fox. I think Megan Fox is a semi-okay actress, but yeah. She really doesn't fit the part of April O'Neil, and her relationship with the turtles really doesn't come through. In fact, it feels like it's really shoehorned into the movie. So in general, I really did enjoy going to see this movie. I liked all the action. I liked all that stuff. As for like the origins and piecing everything together, it really relies on people knowing a little bit more about the turtles. Like, my information of the turtles is not that great, but when I was watching it, I was like, this is just a lot of stuff put together. And I just don't think that it was the greatest movie. I don't think it was the worst movie. So what I think I'm going to give this one is a 2.5K review, and I'm going to give it a very normal one. I would say that if you guys are interested in going to see this movie, go see it in the theaters for the cheapest price possible. When it comes out on video, make sure to rent it for like $1, and when it's in, streaming, top 25. And as always, thanks guys for watching my review. I really do appreciate all the viewers and subscribers that I do have. Make sure to give me a little with a K whack right here if you want to subscribe to my channel. Whack up there if you want to see any of my past reviews, or in the description down below. And make sure to give me a little with a K whack in the comments. Tell me, what is your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, cartoon series, and what do you want to see done in the second movie if they decide to do a sequel to it? And oh yeah, never forget, if you don't like what you're watching, you can always turn it off. But thanks for always coming back and seeing me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No.